How you doing? I'm Darren with Kickin BBQ. If this is your first time to the channel, then welcome. If you've been here before, then welcome back. Today, I have a pretty unique video for you. I'm just gonna preface by saying that it is -9 degrees outside right now with a real feel of -26. When I got up at 6 o'clock this morning, it was a real feel of -34. It is bitterly cold outside. But when you live in Minnesota, that's not an excuse to not cook barbecue, at least for me. I cook all year long, and when it's days like this, I don't particularly enjoy being outside, especially when filming. However, today I have a couple products here that I'm hoping are gonna make my life a little bit easier when it comes to cold weather cooking and just cooking in general. And that is the ChefsTemp S1 and the ChefsTemp Breezo fan. Now, if you're not familiar with ChefsTemp, they have some really cool stuff going on in their ecosystem, and I'm really excited to see how these products work. Now, I have a rack of baby back ribs right here, and this is just gonna be a pretty basic cook. We're gonna season them up, get them on the S&S kettle, and just kind of run things from inside the house. Before we get these ribs seasoned up, I just wanna talk a little bit about these two products, give you an idea of their capabilities, and then we will go forward there testing it and seeing how they are. Full discretion, ChefsTemp did sponsor this video, which I am very grateful for. Now, that being said, I would never feed you guys any BS to get you to try and buy a product that's not my style. I've turned down plenty of companies in the past, and I will continue to do so. But because of my history with ChefsTemp and the good luck I've had with their products, I said yes to this. So that being said, any opinion or anything I say in the review is my own opinion. I don't care if they're sponsoring the video or not. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not going to lie to you. So if this thing is not good, you're gonna know. If it is good, you're gonna know. So we're gonna get these ribs seasoned up actually first, let them kind of sweat in while I talk to you guys about these two products. So let's get the ribs seasoned up right now. All right, so you can see we have a nice rack of baby back ribs here. I've gone ahead and removed the membrane on these. And then what I like to do is just push in between these bones, and you can see this little bit of blood coming out. I think it really helps make a better rib. I know a lot of comp guys do that, but it just pushes the blood that's in the veins out. That way you get a little bit less spotting and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spin these like that. First rub I'm coming in with today is the Suckle Busters SPG, the original SPG, the best SPG on the market. And we're just doing light layers today because I am using 3 rubs. Kind of curious to see the color on these, so we're just gonna layer on the flavor. 3 rubs, real light. So starting with the SPG. The next rub we're coming in with is my honey chipotle. Again, just a very light coat. Finally, I'm coming in with the Suckle Busters meat candy. Love this rub. Gives a wonderful color, especially on ribs. You guys will see that today, hopefully. All right, we're gonna get these pressed in. I'm seasoning up today in my Drip Easy barbecue prep tub. This is the XL. Really just helps me not make a mess all over this area where I film and have to clean it up all the time. We get these flipped over. And now I'm gonna repeat the process on the top side. All right, so there are ribs all seasoned up. I'm just gonna move these off to the side, let them sweat out. I'll show you what they look like after they've sweat out for a little bit here, but we're gonna talk about these two products right now, and I'm really excited about them. All right, so starting off with the ChefsTemp S1 here, we're just gonna unbox this here. Really nice packaging. Everything comes very secure here. I did take this out and charge it, but I have not used it yet. So this is the thermometer head that's meant to replace like the one on a Kettle, the analog readout. This is gonna be digital. You'll be able to track it with your phone via the app, via Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And this does come off of the base, just like that. You can see these bronze ends line up here, and that is how you're getting your readings. So just pop that back in. And that is how it looks, very nice. Comes with a charging cable. So let's talk about this a little bit. So you can use this on a Kettle, you can use this on a Kamado, you can use this on a gas grill. Pretty much any grill that can fit this stem in there, you can replace it with this. Now the base monitoring temp range is from 32 to 1022 degrees Fahrenheit, and that is accurate within plus minus 1 degree Fahrenheit. And now this is water resistant. The main unit here is water splash resistant and has a rating of IP54, and the base unit is just waterproof. Now this does have batteries built into it that you just plug in to recharge like you would your phone, and the operating time is 40 hours under Wi-Fi conditions and 300 hours under Bluetooth working only. So that is a long time, more than enough to do an overnight cook. Now the base stem length here is 3.54 inches. The diameter is 7.8 millimeter. You can use iOS or Android to operate the app on this. And what I like about this is it's basically transferring my Kettle grill into a smart grill. So life happens, we have to run errands and go and do things. It's nice to be able to monitor on the go if need be. And that's what this is gonna do here for you. This also will sync up with the ProTemp Plus. You can operate 4 probes with it. This is the ChefsTemp ProTemp 2 Plus. Nice thing about this is this power base right here will also operate this fan. You do need some power for the fan. You do not need power for this, is my understanding. Like I said, this ecosystem really works well together. All right, so now let's talk about this Breezo fan and just get this opened up here. I'm just gonna show you how it comes in the package. So here is the fan, and if you're familiar with any of the barbecue gurus or anything like that, that's kind of the OG system for running drums and stuff like that. That's what this is. Now this is made of plastic. You have a nice gasket right here, and then you have different adapters and flue tape to make sure that everything is secured nicely. These are for Kamados. This will fit right into a Kamado nicely, slide right in that slider there. I do have a Kamado. Maybe I'll show you guys on that at some point, but I really want to test this out on here, so we'll see how that goes. Now you also have the spring attachment here to get it secured into your grill. You do need to unscrew this and get this put on, so I'm going to do that right now. All right, so we have this on. This is what you're gonna do to fit in the plate or on the grill itself. Now, if you remember, the S&S kettle does have a smoke hole, so I'm just gonna put this right in there. The fan's gonna go, stoke the fire. You can take this off. This is where the fan is. You can also adjust the damper here, like so. Now, in talking with ChefsTemp, they advise to keep it pretty much closed, if not all the way closed, if you're worried about wind and stuff getting in there, because it is so cold today. I think I'm gonna try it out closed and see how it does and go from there. But yeah, so this will just pop in there, hook it up to the base. This thing will tell this fan to kick on and off, and we should be able to dial in our temperatures. I'm gonna be running at 275-ish degrees today. I'm good with 250 to 300 on these ribs, but that's what we're gonna be doing. So this is compatible with a ton of cookers, which is really nice. The Kamado Joe Classic 2, Kamado Big Joe 3, Primo XL, Pit Barrel Cooker, Pit Boss Kamado, Cypress Ceramic Kamado, Bayou Classic, and it goes on and on and on. Big Green Eggs. You can put this on your stick burner if you have the capabilities to do so. And if you don't have a hole, you can drill a 1.25 inch hole, which you can directly attach to a Breezo fan and use the flute to cover any gaps. Kettle, like I said, you will need to drill a hole in it if you're using a Weber kettle. So that's up to you if you want. What I would do is drill the hole and cover it with flute tape when I'm not using the fan, or just leave the fan on there. It's not gonna hurt anything if you're just doing some grilling or whatever. It'll withstand that high heat. So that is the fan. We're gonna be trying out both of these together today and see if we can cook us an edible rack of ribs. I'm really excited to see how this goes. I'm not really excited to cook in the cold, so being able to monitor it from inside, if everything goes as planned, is going to be really nice. Let's check on those ribs and see how they're looking. All right, here are our ribs. You can see we have some wonderful color. Definitely starting to sweat in there a little bit. I'm gonna let these keep going, and we're gonna go outside and get the grill fired up and just see how this thing operates. So I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna try and bring you with. Hopefully the camera cooperates and we'll get the grill fired up. All right guys, like I said, it is frigid out right now. So I have my lump charcoal in here and I have some tumbleweeds over here, and I'm just gonna get those going like so. And what we want to do is we want to let this catch slowly so we're not overshooting our temperatures. So I'm just going to throw a little charcoal on there. And then I have the slow and sear, so the smoke port is right here. So I'll be able to hook up that fan right where the coals are burning, and that'll stoke them, and hopefully we'll have accurate temperature here for our ribs. So I'm gonna let this burn for about 12 minutes and get an established coal bed, and then we'll get the fan and everything hooked up. What I'm gonna do now is I'm going to replace this thermometer with that new one, but we're gonna do that inside because it is freezing right now. So I'll meet you in the house. All right, so here's the lid for the kettle. We're just gonna flip this over. You can see it's pretty clean in there. Thank you, Tom Horsman. That's who I bought this kettle from. Tom Horsman on YouTube, folks. We'll just get this off like so. I'm gonna save this because if something were to happen with the digital thermometer, I wanna be able to keep this, so don't throw that away. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take the base adapter here and feed it through the hole, just like that. Perfect fit on there. That's gonna be nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this screwed on. All right, so there we go, there's our base. Now we're just gonna take and get our head units on there. That looks good there. Check that out. Pretty high tech. That looks cool. It's huge, nice to read if you're sitting outside, and yeah, so looks good. Everything fits properly. So I'm gonna let the grill warm up. I'm gonna go out, get the fan hooked up to it. I'll show you what that looks like. We'll get everything ready to go, try and get it up to temperature before we put the ribs on, and I'll show you how the app process works as far as controlling stuff there. So, all right, so here's what the app looks like. You can see we're sitting at about 223 degrees. The fan's not on or anything like that. So we're gonna go ahead and turn the fan on, turn on the settings. We're not gonna go by time, we're gonna go by temperature. We're gonna set it at 275 degrees. So that's what we're looking for to be cooking today. But I'm gonna go out, bring you outside and show you what the fan looks like hooked up and operational. So we'll meet you outside. All right, so here is the external display. You can see we are coming up to temp. I have the vent barely cracked right here per the instructions. The fan is right here hooked up and rolling. You can hear it operating. Very quiet, nice for filming. So I'm just gonna let this thing get up to temperature, and we'll bring you back out when it's time to get the ribs on. We're gonna be smoking with hickory today. I just have a few small chunks here because I don't wanna overdo it with that vent being closed. But yeah, she's climbing, so I'll let you know when it gets up to temp and bring you back. All right, so you can see we are sitting at 277 degrees, and it's maybe been 5 minutes. This thing ramped up, locked in. Now, one thing I did wanna mention here, you can use the button over here to pause the fan, so when you open your lid, it's like a lid detection. It's not gonna ramp up as soon as all of that cold air hits in there. So that's what we're gonna do right now. All right, so we're gonna pause it, like so. Just heard it shut down, and we're gonna get the ribs on. Now, what I wanna do here is I'm gonna open this up, like so, and I'm gonna get my wood chunks on right here just so we can start getting some smoke going. I'm gonna grab the ribs, we'll get those on. Get the ribs on right here, like so. And that is looking good to me. We'll get this lid closed back down. We're gonna unpause the fan. We'll let it do its thing, catch back up. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave this closed because like I said, it is bitterly cold. I'm gonna track it from the app. If anything weird happens, I'll bring you back and let you know. Otherwise, we'll check in on these in probably 2 hours or so. So we'll see you guys if there's an issue, which fingers crossed there isn't, or we'll see you in 2 hours. But we got the hickory smoke going here. Like I said, went light on it just because I did not want to just saturate these things with smoke. So hopefully everything is locked in, and we'll see you guys in a little bit. All right, so it has been about 3 hours. I let them go a little bit longer because I came out and checked them at the 2 hour mark. They didn't have the color I want, but they're looking good now. You can see, used a lot of charcoal. You can probably hear that fan still trying to maintain temperature, but man, those ribs look amazing. So I'm gonna get these in. We're gonna get them wrapped up. I'm gonna finish them in the oven, and we'll talk about the performance on this S1. But yeah, these look great. See you in the house. All right, so before we wrap these ribs, I just wanna show you, sitting at 261 degrees right now. Our highest was 286. I forgot to click that button when I checked on them at the 2-hour mark, so we did get a little bit of a spike there. 11 degrees, I'm not worried about. Lowest was 167 again when the lid was off. I did have my high-low alarm set, 225 for a low, 325 for a high. Just in case something were to happen, I could be alerted and go and check and resolve that issue. So the app is great. I've been watching football, keeping up with the cook, not freezing my tuchus off out there. So let's get these ribs wrapped up. Again, just gonna show you these nice looking old school-esque ribs right here. That hickory smoke smells amazing. For the wrap, we are going with the usual suspects. I got 4 pats of butter here, about 4 tablespoons, and the Suckle Busters honey barbecue glaze and finishing sauce. So for this has all the sugar and everything else that people usually add in their wraps. You don't really need to add anything else except a good sauce. And then of course, when this is done, you can just sauce your ribs with this sauce. Ends up being super convenient and very, very tasty. So I am going to grab these ribs. You can see the bottom side looking so good. I'm gonna plop those dead center right there, and I'm gonna get these wrapped up. All right, here are our ribs. These are going into a 300-degree oven. I'm just gonna cook them until they're tender. I'll let you know how long that's been if I can remember to do that at the end of the video. This really isn't a recipe video. We're just demonstrating that product, but I wanna show you the final product on these ribs because I think they're gonna look great. And then at that point, we'll talk about the S1 and the Breezo. And of course, if you have any questions after that, feel free to drop a comment. If I can't answer it, I will reach out to ChefsTemp and get an answer for you. So I will see you when these ribs are done. All right, guys, so here is our rack of ribs. You can see great color, smells wonderful, nice and tender. Internal finish temp was right around 208 degrees, depending on where you probed. Reason being it was so high is because we finished them in the oven at 300 degrees. I have this thing running, and I've had it running all day long. The battery bar, last time I looked, let me just double check it. Yeah, has not dropped a single click. And I can say my house is set at 72 degrees. This is dead on accurate. Between the S1 and the Breezo, man, this made this cook easy, especially with the bitter cold out there. So very happy with how this performed. So let's slice into the ribs and see how we did. You can see they look fantastic. Guys, check that out. Nice deep smoke ring, incredibly juicy. Nice fat render on the top here. I mean, and that is a juicy rib. Hopefully you can pick that up on camera, but man, that's a really nice looking rib. So good, let's try these. Oh, it's been a long day of cooking, filmed a few videos, did some inside content, been looking forward to trying these ribs. So let's do this right now. Guys, that is a dang good rib. I'm telling you right now. You get that nice charcoal flavor that you don't get with a lot of other cookers. But then you get that smokiness from the hickory, just works so well with pork. You get the savoriness from the SPG, get a little bit of smoky, sweet heat from my honey chipotle, and then that meat candy just tops it off with another layer of sweetness and just barbecue flavor. And of course the glaze is fantastic. I mean, these are properly cooked. You can tell just coming clean off the bone, but definitely not fall off the bone. Just the slightest teeth tug, they come off. Everyone loves a clean bone. These ribs are lights out. The S1 with the Breezo's fan, game changer. I am really looking forward to using it when it's even a little bit warmer out so I can actually hang out and see how it responds. I was out there for a little bit when the fan kicked on. And as soon as it starts approaching probably 10, 15 degrees, it just shuts off and just poof, poof, poof. Just stokes it up to where you have it set, that 275 degree set point. Really impressed with that. I mean, I remember when I bought the Barbecue Guru years ago, it was like $300 or something like that. you're getting into this for $140. I will have a discount code down below to save you some money. I'll put a text right here, and then down in the description I'll also have a discount code. But even at $140 to get into this, it's extremely cheap, and you can move it from cooker to cooker if you want. So I am very impressed with this from ChefsTemp. Nice job. I'm giving this my seal of approval just based off today, just based off the weather. The fan rated for -4 ran flawlessly out there at -24 or -30 or whatever it was. It was cold, but it had no issues. I did keep that damper closed, and I think that really helped with the wind not getting up in there and cooling things down. And I mean, we're talking about cooking on a kettle. It's not insulated. It's not any of that. So for this thing to control the temperatures in that kettle, just think about how thin the metal is on a kettle and the charcoal. I mean, I didn't add any charcoal to that cook. Now, had I wrapped and put them back on the smoker, I definitely would have had to add charcoal. But the nice thing about that is that Breezo would have just stoked that charcoal and would have got going even quicker than it normally would had you just added it. So I'm giving it my seal of approval. I really enjoyed it. I am going to eat this rib, kick back, watch some playoff football. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, ring that bell, stay safe, and we will see you next time.